Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to explain the whole scenario around Niger Republic, the 2023 coup, and the influence of France and Ecowas. Okay, so stay tuned. The Republic of Niger, also known as Niger, is a West African landlocked country. Geographically, Niger is the largest country in West Africa. Just see the size. Now, Niger shares its borders with 7 countries. To the north, it borders Algeria and Libya. To the east, it is bordered by Chad. To the south, by Nigeria and Benin. To the west, by Burkina Faso. And to the northwest, by Mali. Fantastic. You can see the number of countries surrounding Niger. Economically, Niger is rich in natural resources and it is famous for its vast uranium reserves. And let me tell you, it's among the largest in the world. Niger also has gold, coal, oil, natural gas, and phosphates. But ironically, in the midst of all this wealth, these rich resources, Niger is still regarded as a poor country. Now, Niger was colonized by France and was part of French West Africa, that's AOF. Niger officially gained independence from France on August 3rd, 1960, and Hamani Diori became the first president from 1960 to 1974. That's, you can imagine the number of years. Niger Republic witnessed its first military coup on 15th April 1974. That military coup was led by Tchiani. It's a French name. He overthrew the president Diori and established a military rule. So Tchiani served as president until his death in 1987. Ale Saiboa succeeded Count J, that's Tchiani, and continued military rule until mounting political pressure forced him to allow a transition to multi-party democracy. In response to popular demands, of course, a national conference was held in 1991, leading to the establishment of a new constitution of Niger and the transition to multi-party democracy. Mohammed Bazoum became the first democratically elected president under this new system, and he served from 1993 to 1996. Also, Niger recorded another coup which occurred on 27th January 1996 when Colonel Ibrahim Bare Manassara seized power in a coup and served as president until his assassination in 1999. Major Dauda Malam Wanke took over after the assassination of Manassara. Major Wanke later handed over power to an elected president, Mamadou Tanja, in November 1999. Now, Tanja served as president from 1999 to 2010. His rule was alleged by controversies, attempts to extend presidency beyond the constitutional limits, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. This led to a coup in 2010. In the wake of February 2010, a military junta led by Salau Jibo took over power and deposed Tanja. Salau Jibo handed over power to Mahamadou Issoufou. Now, Mahamadou Issoufou was elected as president in 2011 and served 2 terms until 2021. And during his tenure, there were at least 2 attempted coups, but I don't want to bore you with all that details. So, after Mahamadou Issoufou served, he handed over power to Mohammed Bazoum, who was elected in 2021 after winning the presidential election. However, On 26 July 2023, a military coup overthrew Bazoum and General Tchiani declared himself head of state. Prior to this coup, tensions simmered between Niger's President Mohammed Bazoum and Tchiani. Tchiani used to be the head of the Presidential Guard. It is noteworthy to mention here that President Bazoum served as Issoufou's foreign prime minister from 2011 to 2016 and interior minister from 2016 to 2021. And at the same time, while Bazoum was serving as minister, General Tchiani served as the presidential guard or headed the presidential guard during Issoufou's regime in office. Although Tchiani was close to Issoufou and Issoufou supported Bazoum's candidacy, Tchiani and Bazoum are not friends at all. So it is believed that former President Bazoum was planning to suspend or remove General Tchiani as head of the Presidential Guard. However, this plan did not materialize at all before the coup. This military coup is unique and has gotten wide attention. For starters, the military officers or figures involved in the 2023 coup have deep ties within the Niger's armed forces and have previously held influential positions. Hence, the actions have gained both their support and backup. Neighboring countries within the region, apart from Mali, Burkina Faso, and recently Algeria, have responded to the coup with condemnation and calls for a swift return to democratic governance. Now, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the African Union have expressed their disapproval of the coup and have taken steps to impose sanctions on the military head of state and on the military government. Presently, Nigeria is the chairman of ECOWAS and, of course, naturally, the president of Nigeria, Ahmed Tinubu, is the chairman of ECOWAS. Tinubu has been outspoken and did not mince words over the disapproval of the coup and the Tchiani-led government. Now, as ECOWAS leaders gathered in the Nigerian capital for an emergency summit on what actions to be taken to restore constitutional order in Niger, military leaders warned against any armed intervention and expressed their determination to defend their homeland. Now, after the meeting, the 15-nation regional bloc of ECOWAS demanded that President Bazoum be reinstated within a week. Otherwise, it will take all measures to restore constitutional order. Such measures may include the use of force or military intervention by ECOWAS standby armed forces. Now, alongside this demand, ECOWAS has also slammed financial sanctions on the coup leaders and on the country, freezing all commercial and financial transactions between member states and Niger. Now, it is clear that ECOWAS has threatened military intervention to dislodge those Coup members if he did not give back power to civilian rule. Despite these threats and the financial sanctions, the Tchiani-led government is not shivering, and it is not clear whether ECOWAS will be able and willing to mount an armed intervention. For one thing, there is no unity among ECOWAS members. Only Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and Benin have promised troops to join a Nigerian-led anti-junta intervention. But the Nigerian Senate has long ago declined to authorize the use of Nigerian forces for the intervention. We all know that President Tinubu sent a letter asking the Senate to authorize or give permission for Nigerian soldiers to partake in the military intervention, and this was declined. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea, all Ecowas members, have expressed solidarity with Niger's junta. Mali and Burkina Faso have declared that any intervention against Niger would be considered a war against them. ECOWAS has also sent several diplomatic delegations to the capital, Niamey, that's Niger, to negotiate a handover of power back to civilians. All those delegations were not fruitful at all. One of the delegations was led by President of Chad, and he met and discussed with the former president who was under house arrest. Now, among the sanctions placed on Niger, Nigeria has also taken a big move by cutting power supply to Niger and also closed its borders against Niger. Seeing that military option may cause major strife in the region, and in the face of many opposed to that option, ECOWAS military chiefs of defense staff from Togo, Sierra Leone, Senegal, Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Guinea-Bissau, Gambia, Cote d'Ivoire, Cabo Verde or Cape Verde, and Republic of Benin have met and advised ECOWAS body that more diplomatic measures should be adopted to resolve the coup. This turnaround decision by ECOWAS military chiefs of defense may have been influenced by civilian rallies in Niger supporting the coup, and also the support of Mali and Burkina Faso alongside Guinea in favor of Niger. Now for Mali, a military coup led by Colonel Assimi Goïta overthrew Keïta of Mali, and the Prime Minister and the President of Mali was arrested, and shortly afterwards, the President announced his resignation. Recently, President Goïta of Mali has signed a decree prolonging his military rule. The military rule in Mali and the coup in Mali has been condemned by international communities. Number one, the United Nations, through its peacekeeping mission, quickly condemned the coup and called for calm across the nation. French Foreign Minister also condemned the coup, saying France condemns it with the greatest firmness and condemns the violence act that occurred in Mali. France has also suspended joint operations with the Malian military, as well as national advisory missions. In addition, ECOWAS, European Union, and the United States have issued a joint statement condemning the Mali coup and called for the release of arrested politicians. Now, on 31st May, ECOWAS suspended Mali, effective immediately until Goïta hands over power to a democratically elected government. Now, up till date, Goïta of Mali is still in power, and ECOWAS and France have not been able to do anything about it. Now, in the case of Burkina Faso, a coup d'etat took place, and this coup d'etat was led by Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Traoré overthrew the government of Damiba. Now, Captain Traoré announced that he and a group of officers had decided to remove President Damiba due to his inability to deal with a worsening Islamic insurgency in the country. He also imposed a curfew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., suspended political and civil societies activities, suspended the parliament, closed all air and land borders, and also suspended the constitution of Burkina Faso. Captain Traoré declared that he was the new head of state of Burkina Faso. Now, in January 2023, Captain Traoré told the French forces to withdraw immediately from Burkina Faso. The French army officially ended its operations in the country in February 2023 and departed. The West African Regional Bloc (Ecowas) has also suspended Burkina Faso in the aftermath of that military coup. Ghanaian President Nana Addo, who was the Ecowas chairman at that time, called the recent spate of coup in West Africa a direct violation of democratic tenets. Ecowas did not carry out any military intervention in Burkina Faso, and it seems more certain that it will never do so. Now, back to our main discourse. The international community, of course led by France, has voiced its disapproval of the military coup in Niger. Global powers including United States of America, European Union, have also condemned the overthrow of President Bazoum and have called for a peaceful resolution and a return to democratic governance. This is unnatural. In furtherance of their displeasure of the military coup, France and Germany announced the suspension of their financial disbursement and aid to Niger. Also, the United States of America partially halted aid to Niger Republic. France is currently evacuating 8 citizens and has suspended flights to and fro Niger. Now, having been kicked out of Mali and Burkina Faso, France has relied heavily on Niger, especially with Niger's uranium. Now, Niger wants France out of the country. A very dramatic turn of events. And the prevailing situation points to the fact that the long oppressive dominance of France in the region is nearing its end. This development is akin to the period leading up to the collapse of the Soviet Union. This may not only apply to France, it is more likely to apply to ECOWAS. Now, Russia does not seem to have played a direct role in the coup. However, Russia has warned ECOWAS that military intervention in Niger would lead to a protracted confrontation. Russia has recommended an urgent national dialogue as the way forward in restoring democracy to the unstable West African country that has experienced 5 coups. You can imagine Niger Republic experiencing 5 coups. That's back to back. For the people of Niger, thousands of citizens took to the streets waving Russia flags and sending invitations to Russia to come in. At the same time, they were singing songs that France should leave them alone and leave their uranium resources. Meanwhile, the Tchiani-led government has welcomed the Wagner Group. Wagner Group is a military group of mercenaries. Now, the Wagner Group is linked to Russia, and their presence and support of the coup in Niger also sends a message to ECOWAS and any other party who may be seeking military intervention or invasion of Niger to have a rethink. Unfortunately, the head of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, is dead. His plane was shot down while returning to Russia recently. Now, coming to countermeasures. In a counter response to the European Union, Niger has announced that it is revoking its military agreements with France. Niger has also suspended the broadcast of French state-funded international news outlets. Also, Tchiani has named a new prime minister for Niger Republic by name Ali Lamine. This further strengthens their military rule and military grip of the country. Niger has also closed its airspace in preparation for a possible war with ECOWAS and perhaps France. This bold move is an indication of the resolve of the Tchiani-led government to oppose any external aggression. As you can see, the military-led government of Tchiani has demonstrated a strong grip of power, and in the coming days, weeks, months, or perhaps years, Tchiani may continue to be in power. There is no straightforward path or likely scenario by which a civilian order could be restored in Niger. What is fascinating is the support and jubilation of the masses in favor of this military coup of 2023. With this show of encouragement, naturally, there is every likelihood that General Tchiani will be the number one picture of Niger Republic for quite some time, and it will be staring Ecowas and France in the face. Niger may well not be the last place in Africa where a coup may take place. Sierra Leone and the Democratic Republic of Congo are just two immediate possibilities. Another country that may likely have a coup is Uganda. These are very weak democracies, and it can happen to any other country. Any country may fall under a military coup. It's just a matter of time. For Ecowas, its failure to effect any change will be a blow to its influence. There will be important ramifications in terms of Ecowas relations with military heads of Burkina Faso and Mali, which Ecowas has been pushing to transition to civilian rule. Ecowas has forced them to accept transitional timelines and timetables for holding elections, and has been trying to push these coup leaders to comply. Unfortunately, they have not been able to succeed in that aspect. And ECOWAS' ability to do so is much reduced by this affair. With the present state of affairs now, there is no gainsaying that the regional military heads of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea are already emboldened to continue to hold on to power. Now, to answer the question in your mind, yes, the coup in Niger has succeeded. And it has succeeded because France and ECOWAS decided not to intervene in its first hours. The golden rule for reversing a coup is the first day or two at most. After that, it becomes very difficult unless there is active opposition within the military. Perhaps the only hope of reversing it is a domestic rebellion and possible civil war in Niger. And that's not an option for any well-meaning body of power or regional bloc. Of course, if war breaks out in Niger right now, or there is rebellion or civilian uprising against the government of Niger, which of course ultimately leads to a civil war and loss of life and property, the likely parties to be blamed will be obvious: ECOWAS and France. And the reason is simple. For France, Niger supplies majority of its uranium, which helps to power the nuclear plant in France. And since this military head of state took over, that's Tchiani, Niger has cut off that uranium supply. So you can see some parts of France are already in blackout. And this is just part or one of many things that may happen to France in the days or weeks, months to come. For ECOWAS, it is important that they strike a major lesson since they failed to do anything in the case of Mali, Burkina Faso, and perhaps Guinea. So if they fail now in Niger, there is likelihood that other democratically elected presidents may suffer military coup in their respective countries. There are also speculations that gas supply to Europe passes through Niger. Hence, the interest of the West and ECOWAS in ensuring that civilian rule returns to Niger. This, of course, will maintain the agreement of constant supply of gas or whatever that is passing through Niger to Europe. And this is increasingly difficult for Europe and Ecowas, especially now that Russia has cut off its gas supply to all parts of Europe. Well, for the people of Niger and people of Africa, avoiding any kind of conflict in Niger seems to be the main concern. This will prevent a situation like Libya, which is still in topsy-turvy, commotion here and there. Any conflict, both internally caused or externally caused, or external aggression, will backfire and have reprisal effects on all the 7 bordering countries of Niger, especially given the terrorist attacks in the recent years. No country will be safe. For former President Mohammed Bazoum, he's still alive, he's in custody, house arrest, and there is every indication that he will likely face a treason charge. And if convicted, he may likely face the death penalty. Presently, the whereabouts of former President Mohammed Bazoum is unknown, and this is more reason why ECOWAS and France should tread more carefully. For history purposes, this is not the first time former President Mohammed Bazoum has been detained. He has been in the corridors of power and around military coup for the past 20 years. He has been arrested twice, he has been detained twice, and released without any charge. So there's no need to panic really for former President Mohammed Bazoum. For General Tchiani, the president or head of state of Niger, he's experienced, he's been the head of the presidential guard, he has been around the corridors of power for so long in Niger. He's connected among the rank and file of the Niger armed forces. He will definitely do what is needful to maintain the trust and support of the people of Niger and the armed forces. More so, now he has the advice and support of military rulers in Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea. He will definitely tread carefully in order to avoid any military confrontation, both internally and externally. It is obvious that General Tchiani will also join the chorus, which is now being sung by Captain Traore of Burkina Faso, in calling for Africa to arise and wake up from new colonization and surrendering its resources to foreign powers. Also, in the fight against dollar, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea will likely join BRICS, and it's going to be an interesting turn of events in the months and years to come. One thing is certain: Niger is a sovereign country. Niger is an independent country. Niger has every constitutional right, every right known to mankind to defend itself from external aggression, especially from aggression from a regional organization, from a regional power, or from foreign powers. If ECOWAS and France mean well for the people of Niger, the best way out is to let them be, as any military intervention at this time will result in war and destruction of lives and property. All threats of force should be out of the table. For Kpako lawyer, it is too late. For the people of Ecowas and France, it is too late to intervene. So let the sleeping dogs in Niger lie peacefully. Now, if you have watched up to this point, do two out of these three things below. Subscribe, like, or comment. I appreciate you. See you soon, guys. Thank you.